Welcome to every one of you, whether you are day of studying with us, like some people are, or down the road. Doesn't matter. We are in Jasher 19. I hope that you're enjoying this supplement to your King James. And here we are talking about Sodom, and there's this judge, Chirac. He's not gone away since 18 here. We're going to see that. We're going to see some more of the customs, and these people were accustomed to their evil from A to Z. Now, we discussed all the idolatry and how that ties into the creatures from the other dimension and how it is reverenced in this religion to be able to contact these creatures physically, spiritually, mentally. So we've been through all that. So you can take what you know about the Zohar, the Talmud, and the Kabbalah, and Satanism, and put it back here in Sodom and amplify it. They have all the fruit. It's amazing what fruit is sticking out here in Sodom and Gomorrah, and you can see why the Lord took this stern judgment, and he's going to take it again with this world that we live in, because our fruit today resembles the pre-flood world, and it resembles Sodom and Gomorrah, and it is Mystery Babylon, which is summoned by the devil. It has come up. It has come up, and all these pre-flood ley line porthole places come up with Mystery Babylon to be destroyed by Christ forever. All right, so in 19, let's take a look as Sodom is described and its destruction is described here in 19, verse 1. And the cities of Sodom had 4 judges to 4 cities, and these were the names: Chirac in the city of Sodom, Sharkad in Gomorrah, Zabnak in Admah, and Menon in Zeboim. 2 in Eleazar, Abram's servant, applied to them different names, and he converted Chirac to Sharkrah, and Sharkad to Shakura, Zebnak to Kezobim, and Menom to Matzlodin. And by desire of their 4 judges, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah had, now get this, these are torture racks here. And by desire of their 4 judges, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah had beds erected in the streets of the cities. And if a man came to these places, they laid hold of him and brought him to one of their beds, and by force made him to lie in them. In 4, and as he lay down, 3 men would stand at his head and 3 at his feet, and measure him by the length of the bed. And if the man was less than the bed, these 6 men would stretch him at each end. And when he cried out to them, they would not answer him. So this is a torture rack. So they have a torture rack wide open in their city. How about that? In 5, and if he was longer than the bed, they would draw together the 2 sides of the bed at each end until the man had reached the gates of death. So how about that for ingenuity? Wonder which fallen angel gave him that little device. But anyway, there it is. Torture. There's nothing about torture that is not satanic. In 6 it says, and if he continued to cry out to them, they would answer him, saying, thus shall it be done to a man that cometh into our land. And when men heard all these things that the people of the cities of Sodom did, they refrained from coming there. No doubt about that. And when a poor man came to their land, they would give him silver and gold, and cause a proclamation in the whole city not to give him a morsel of bread to eat. And if the stranger should remain there some days and die from hunger, not having been able to obtain a morsel of bread, then at his death all the people of the city would come and take their silver and gold which they had given to him. How clever. 9, and those that could recognize the silver or gold which they had given him took it back, and at his death they also stripped him of his garments, and they would fight about them. And he that prevailed over his neighbor took them. So they are what? Fighting over his garments of the dead man. 10, they would after that carry him and bury him under some of the shrubs in the deserts. So they did all the days to any one that came to them and died in their land. In 11 it says, and in the course of time Sarah sent Eliezer to Sodom to see Lot and inquire after his welfare. 12, and Eliezer went to Sodom, and he met a man of Sodom fighting with a stranger. And the man of Sodom stripped the poor man of all his clothes and went away. And this poor man cried to Eliezer and supplicated his favor on account of what the man of Sodom had done to him. 14, and he said to him, why dost thou act thus to the poor man who came to thy land? Question mark. 15, and the man of Sodom answered Eliezer, saying, is this man thy brother? Or have the people of Sodom made thee a judge this day, that thou shouldest speak about this man? Question mark. 16, and Eliezer strove with the man of Sodom on account of the poor man. And when Eliezer approached to recover the poor man's clothes from the man of Sodom, he hastened and with a stone smote Eliezer in the forehead. 17, and the blood flowed copiously from Eliezer's forehead. And when the man saw the blood, he caught hold of Eliezer, saying, give me my hire for having rid thee of this bad blood that was in thy forehead. For such is the custom and the law of our land. Yeah, this, you see the fruit of this place? Now fast forward to today, when we don't love the stranger, don't love the poor, don't love the widow, and our Darwinian theory, and the poor have to die. Everybody has to die except for 500 million people, and they'll be implanted with the AI brain chip. Okay, that's a nice goal, for our society today as Mystery Babylon is risen. Back into the history here, it says in 18, and Eleazar said to him, Thou hast wounded me, and requestest me to pay thee thy hire? And Eleazar would not hearken to the words of the man of Sodom. This is pretty, there's a slight, okay, in this hell that we're describing here, there is a little, let's call it irony here, that Eleazar dishes out here. This is, I have to get a slight chuckle. This Eleazar, this servant, he's a pretty good dude, isn't he? Anyway, in 19, and the man laid hold of Eleazar and brought him to Sharka, or Shankra, the judge of Sodom, for judgment. And this is the other name here. 20, and the man spoke to the judge, saying, I beseech thee, my lord, thus has this man done, for I smote him with a stone, that the blood flowed from his forehead, and he is unwilling to give me my hire. See, that's what I'm saying, and two men can have a baby, too. See, this is what I mean about the insanity. Once a person, once a land, once a family, once a generation of people get into the occult, all things become unglued. Everything is upside down. Everything's double speak and lies, and so yeah, two men can have a baby, and the child isn't alive in the womb, and we can go ahead and jerk that child out of the womb as God's forming that child in the womb of the mother, and we're going to kill it and harvest its organs, and that's okay too. See, all right. 21, and the judge said to Eleazar, This man speaketh truth to thee, give him his hire, for this is the custom in our land. And Eleazar heard the words of the judge, and he lifted up a stone and smote the judge, and the stone struck on his forehead, and the blood flowed copiously from the forehead of the judge. And Eleazar said, If this man is the custom in, if this then is the custom in your land, give thou unto this man what I should have given him. For this has been thy decision, thou didst decree it. So there, I get a little chuckle out of that. And if it was, anyway, I'll stop. But you better be carrying a big sword when you go into Sodom and Gomorrah in this day. Nice sharp one. 22, and Eleazar left the man of Sodom with the judge, and he went away. 23, and when the kings of Elam had made war with the kings of Sodom, the kings of Elam captured all the property of Sodom, and they took Lot captive with his property. And when it was told to Abraham, he went and made war with the king of Elam, and he recovered from their hands all the property of Lot, as well as the property of Sodom. And we know how this is harmonizing with our Old Testament. 24, at that time, the wife of Lot bare him a daughter, and he called her name Paltith, saying, because God had delivered him and his whole household from the kings of Elam. And Paltith, daughter of Lot, grew up, and one of the men of Sodom took her for a wife. Oh boy. 25. And a poor man came into the city to seek a maintenance. And he remained in the city some days. And all the people of Sodom caused a proclamation of their custom not to give this man a morsel of bread to eat until he dropped dead upon the earth, and they did so. And that's another thing, attacking the food of the world. And they are certainly doing that. They're putting poison in it, genetically altering your food for you, buying up all the farmland. Is Bill Gates truly the biggest farmer in the United States of America, where we were born? Is he the biggest property owner now that he stole that property during the COVID panic? You think he's going to farm good food for everybody? Yeah, this is total war here. And here they're just getting whoever comes through town with their total war. 26. And Paltith, the daughter of Lot, saw this man lying in the street, starved with hunger, and no one would give him anything to keep him alive. And he was just upon the point of death. And her soul was filled with pity on account of the man. And she fed him secretly with bread for many days, and the soul of this man was revived. Okay, now this is going to be important, because every breath of every person that God has created is important, either for good or for bad, but it doesn't matter. This is going to be the final nail in their coffin for this. Now listen to this. 28. And when she went forth to fetch water, she would put the bread in the water pitcher, and when she came to the place where the poor man was, she took the bread from the pitcher and gave it to him to eat. So she did many days. What a sin! Feeding the hungry. That is, oh my. How dare she do this in this occult, satanic world, Sodom and Gomorrah. 29. And all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah wondered how this man could bear starvation for so many days. 30. And they said to each other, this can only be that he eats and drinks, for no man can bear starvation for so many days, or live as this man has, without even his countenance changing. And 3 men concealed themselves in a place where the poor man was stationed, to know who it was that brought him bread to eat. 31. And Paltith, daughter of Lot, went forth that day to fetch water, and she put bread into her pitcher of water, and she went to draw water by the poor man's place, and she took out the bread from the pitcher and gave it to the poor man, and he ate it. 32. And the 3 men saw that Paltith did to the poor man, what Paltith did to the poor man, and they said to her, it is thou then who hast supported him, and therefore has he not starved, nor changed in appearance, nor died like the rest. 33. And the 3 men went out of the place in which they were concealed, and they seized Paltith and the bread which was in the poor man's hand. 34. And they took Paltith and brought her before their judges. And they said to them, thus did she do and it is she who supplied the poor man with bread. Therefore did he not die all this time. Now therefore declare to us the punishment due to this woman for having transgressed our law. Okay, and there's lots of laws we got today that are totally corrupt, just like this. For example, it is a child's right to have himself or herself mutilated. And you're going to take that child from the parent? How about that law from the UN? Well, that's a state law. Yeah, and they're obeying the UN, the world government. You know, that world government that wasn't around for 40 years. Everyone argued, we're not under world government. Right. There's lots of laws just like this one right here. Legalizing Satanism. After school Satan hour. Drag queen story time, that's legal. Statue of Baphomet in front of the courthouse. Hey, Sodom and Gomorrah is back with a vengeance here. Children. Anyway, in 34, and they took Paltith and brought her before the judges, and they said to them, thus did she do, and it is she who supplied the poor man with bread, therefore he did not die at all this time. Now therefore declare to us the punishment due to this woman for having transgressed our law. 35, and the people of Sodom and Gomorrah assembled and kindled a fire in the street of the city. And they took the woman and cast her into the fire, and she was burned to ashes. And that is the favorite sport of the ungodly Satanists of the world, throwing people alive into the fire. How clever! In 36, and in the city of Admah, there was a woman to whom they did the like. 37, for the traveler came into the city of Admah to abide there all night, with the intention of going home in the morning. And he sat opposite the door of the house of the young woman's father, to remain there as the sun had set. When the sun had set, when B had reached the place. And the young woman saw him sitting by the door of the house. That shouldn't be B, that should be he. Misspelling here in this book. All right, so somewhere that got it should be as the sun had set when he had reached the place. And the young woman saw him sitting by the door of the house. Okay. 38, and he asked her for a drink of water, and she said to him, who art thou? ? And he said to her, I was this day going on the road, and reached here when the sun set, so I will abide here all night, and in the morning I will arise early and continue my journey. 39, and the young woman went into the house and fetched the man bread and water to eat and drink. Boy, that's a felony. Oh my. In 40, and this affair became known to the people of Admah, and they assembled and brought the young woman before the judges, that they should judge her for this act. 41, and the judge said, the judgment of death must pass upon this woman, because she transgressed our law, and this therefore is the decision concerning her. 42, and the people of those cities assembled and brought out the young woman and anointed her with honey from head to foot, as the judge had decreed. And they placed her before a swarm of bees, which were then in their hives. And the bees flew upon her and stung her, that her whole body was swelled. 43, and the young woman cried out on account of the bees. But no one took notice of her or pitied her, and her cries ascended to heaven. 44, and the Lord was provoked at this, and at all the works of the cities of Sodom, for they had abundance of food, and had tranquility amongst them, and still would not sustain the poor and the needy. And in those days their evil doings and sins became great before the Lord. 45, and the Lord sent for 2 of the angels that had come to Abram's house to destroy Sodom and its cities. See, that's 2 out of 3. They're harmonized that with the Old Testament. Remember, I said there's 3. One of them's the Lord. One of them's Jesus Christ. And then there's the 2 angels. Okay, all right. 46, and the angels rose up from the door of Abram's tent after they had eaten and drunk, and they reached Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. And when he saw them, he rose to meet them, and he bowed down to the ground. 47, and he pressed them greatly, and brought them into his house, and he gave them victuals, which they ate, and they abode all night in his house. 48, and the angels said to Lot, Arise, go forth from this place, thou and all belonging to thee, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of this city, for the Lord will destroy this place. In 49, the 7 sevens, and the angels laid hold upon the hand of Lot, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hands of his children, and all belonging to him, and they brought him forth and set him without the cities. 50, a year of jubilee number. And they said to Lot, Escape for thy life. And he fled, and all belonging to him. All right, now we know here, and you got to harmonize that part with the Old Testament. Okay, and you'll get the full details there by putting the 2 things together and allowing one doctrine to support the history. 51, then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah, and upon all these cities brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And that is going to happen again in our time, over the whore of Babylon. 52, and he overthrew these cities, all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. And Ado, the the wife of Lot, looked back to see the destruction of the cities, for her compassion was moved on account of her daughters. Okay, and we're taught here as we come out of Babylon, don't stop and get any property. But her daughters in 52 who remained in Sodom, for they did not go with her. And when she looked back, she became a pillar of salt, and it is yet in that place unto this day. 54. And the oxen which stood in the place daily licked up the salt to the extremities of her feet, and in the morning it would spring forth afresh. And they again licked it up unto this day. How about that detail? Okay, in 55, and Lot and 2 of his daughters that remained with him fled and escaped to the cave of Adullam, and they remained there for some time. Okay, so this harmonizes really good with our Old Testament. Okay. 56, and Abraham rose up early in the morning to see what had been done to the cities of Sodom, and he looked and beheld the smoke of the cities going up like the smoke of a furnace. 57. And Lot and his 2 daughters remained in the cave, and they made their father drink wine, and they lay with him. For they said there was no man upon earth that could raise up seed from them, for they thought that the whole earth was destroyed. So here with this, here they hide in the cave, they believe that everything's gone and there's no one to raise up seed, and they want kids. However, this is where the Moabites came out of. So somehow they fell right into the mystery school of Babylon with the Moabites. They were steeped in it. They just were. And we're going to see that. We're going to see where the Balak and Balaam incident goes on here. And Moab being the Garden Grove, wine-making, festive, occultic empire, and its destruction by the hand of the Israelites. Yet they go on. It's not a total destruction, but God absolutely plagued it. But anyway, I won't go on there. Remember, the Balak and Balaam incident is important. It's right there in the book of Revelation. It is not going to all be totally settled until Christ returns there. Okay, so they thought the whole earth was destroyed, and it was not. 58, and they both lay with their father, and they conceived and bare sons, and the firstborn called the name of her son Moab, saying, From my father did I conceive him. He is the father of the Moabites unto this day. So that the incest and the fear, when there's no fear to be had there, and the fruit of that comes out down the road here. Again, Balak and Balaam, and it's talked about right there in the book of Revelation. They were totally steeped in the occult, and Israel about got destroyed over this, over going to the feast with the Moabites and practicing their religion. Okay, anyway, and Phineas, the man full of zeal, saved them with his javelin. Anyway, we'll get into that. 59, and the younger also called her son Ben-Ami. He is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day, and that's not good. The Ammonites are famous for their diddling with the fallen angels and their giants in Nephilim, etc. And they were enemies also of Israel. All right, in 60, and after this, Lot and his 2 daughters went away from there, and he dwelt on the other side of the Jordan with his 2 daughters and their sons. And the sons of Lot grew up, and they went and took themselves wives from the land of Canaan. And they begot children, and they were fruitful and multiplied. All right, so there's that. We're going to get this up for everybody. I hope you're enjoying the history here. Again, this is a supplement to our 77 books of the King James. It is, we're very careful when it comes to this kind of stuff to see what we're reading and how we, whether it passed the test to be on a podcast here with this King James Bible Prophecy Church. But I'm telling you, this edifies us. It gives us the history. It's a legitimate history. It's referred to by saints in the Bible. All the saints read it, the New Testament, Old Testament. And here it is. So I hope you're getting a lot out of it, as we here at the table are getting a lot out of it. Here at the table we have K.O. Bossy Benz and Big Bear Bo, Harriet. And I'm Tom Thompson, your reader, your servant when it comes to understanding the 77 books of the King James. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.